June Kim walked through the crowded market of Nexus Station. The air smelled of strange foods and engine fuel. Lights from hundreds of shops blinked and flashed around him. He had stopped at this space station to get supplies for his small trading ship. June was 45 years old with gray streaks in his black hair. He had been a space trader for 20 years, moving cargo between Earth colonies. It was not a rich life, but it was free. He answered to no one but himself. Fresh Earth fruits, real apples, not the fake stuff. A vendor shouted at him. Jun shook his head and kept walking. He checked his list. He needed engine parts and food that would last the 3-week journey to Ceres colony. His ship, the Star Wanderer, was old but reliable. Like him, Jun thought with a smile. As he turned down a narrow side path, away from the main market, Jun heard a small noise. It came from behind some trash containers. He stopped and listened. There it was again, a quiet whimper. Curious, Jun moved closer. He pushed aside an empty box and froze. A small alien child was curled up in the space between the containers. The child had blue skin with faint crystal-like patterns that seemed to glow slightly. Large, deep eyes stared up at him in fear. The child was thin, too thin. Ribs showed through torn clothing. "Hello there," Jun said softly. "Are you okay?" The alien child backed deeper into the corner. Jun stayed still. He had seen many aliens in his years of travel, but none like this one. The child looked like no species he knew. "You hungry?" Jun asked. He slowly reached into his pocket and pulled out a protein bar. He unwrapped it and broke off a piece, offering it with an open palm. The child watched him but didn't move. "It's okay," Jun said. "I won't hurt you." A station security officer walked by at the end of the alley. The child tensed and shrank back further. Jun understood. Station security was known to be harsh with homeless aliens, especially unknown species. They would take the child to containment or worse. He made a quick decision and moved his body to block the view from the main path. "I'm going to stay right here," he said. "The food is yours if you want it." Minutes passed. Finally, a small blue hand darted out and snatched the piece of protein bar. The child ate it so quickly that Jun worried they might choke. "My name is Jun," he said, offering another piece. "Do you have a name?" The child tilted their head, not understanding the words. But the alien took the second piece of food more slowly. A merchant Jun knew walked by. "Jun, what are you doing in the trash?" the man called out. "Just looking for spare parts," Jun answered with a forced smile. The merchant shook his head. "Be careful with strays on this station, especially the alien ones. Nothing but trouble." He walked on. Jun turned back to the child. Those large eyes watched him carefully. There was fear there, yes, but also intelligence, and something else. Hope, maybe. "What am I doing?" Jun whispered to himself. He had a schedule to keep. He couldn't get involved. But as the child finished the last of the protein bar, Jun knew he couldn't leave them here. Not to starve or be taken by security. "Would you like to come with me?" Jun asked, making a gesture toward himself and then away from the alley. Food. Safety. He mined eating and shelter with his hands. The child seemed to understand the gestures, if not the words. After a long moment, they nodded slightly. "I'm going to call you Tai," Jun said. "It means great in my language. Let's get you to my ship before anyone asks questions." As they slipped away from the market, Jun wondered what he had just done. Taking in a strange alien child went against all common sense. But sometimes, he thought, the heart knows better than the head. The Star Wanderer left Nexus Station 3 hours after Jun found Ta. He hurried through his supply purchases and rushed back to his ship. If station security found out he was taking an unknown alien child, there would be many questions. Now, as the ship entered deep space, Jun watched Ta eat a third bowl of simple noodles. The child ate carefully now, not in desperate gulps like before. "Slow down. There's plenty more," Jun said, even though he knew Tai couldn't understand him. It was the tone that mattered. Tai looked up with those large, deep eyes. The blue skin seemed to shimmer slightly under the cabin lights. The crystal patterns Jun had noticed earlier appeared to shift with Ta's emotions. Jun pointed to himself. "Jun," he said clearly. Tai watched him, and then spoke for the first time. The sound was musical, with tones that seemed to vibrate in the air. "Well, that's not going to be easy," Jun said with a small smile. He pointed to the child. "Ta." The child tilted their head and then pointed at Jun. "Jun," they said, copying the sound perfectly. Jun's eyes widened. "Fast learner, aren't you?" He pointed to himself again. "Human." Then he pointed to Tai with a questioning look. Tai spoke a word that sounded like Lumiri. Jun sat back in surprise. "Lumiri? But that's not possible." The Lumiri were famous in old stories. They were said to be a peaceful race with amazing abilities to work with technology. But their home world was destroyed in the Great War 30 years ago. Most people thought they were gone forever. "Computer, search for information on Lumiri species," Jun commanded. The ship computer displayed an image that made Jun gasp. The picture showed aliens with blue skin and crystal patterns. They looked exactly like Ta. "A child survivor," Jun whispered. "No wonder you were hiding." Over the next weeks, as the ship traveled to Sarah's colony, Jun worked hard to communicate with Ta. He set up the learning program he once used to learn trading languages. Ta took to it quickly. One morning, Jun woke to find Ta looking at the ship's engine display. "Hey, that's complicated stuff," Jun said, moving to pull Ta away. But Ta pointed to a section of the engine diagram and then made a sound like the engine when it struggled on startup. Jun looked closer. "You hear that problem? I've been trying to fix that for months." Ta nodded and pointed to a specific part on the screen. "The fuel mixer. You think that's the problem." It took 3 days of careful work with hand signals and simple words for Jun to understand what Tai was trying to tell them. The fuel mixer timing was off by a tiny amount. When Jun made the adjustment Ta suggested, the engine ran better than it had in years. "How did you know?" Jun asked in wonder. Tai just smiled. The crystal patterns on the child's skin glowed a little brighter. That night, as Ta slept in the small bed Jun had set up, Jun made a decision. He opened the ship's legal forms program. "Computer, prepare adoption papers for a minor child," he said. "Species of child?" the computer asked. Jun looked over at the sleeping blue form. "Lumiri, and add a name change. The child will be Ta Kim." "This may cause legal issues at Sarah's colony," the computer warned. "Non-human adoptions require special." "Just prepare the papers," Jun interrupted. "I'll deal with the problems when they come." As stars streaked past the viewing window, Jun wondered about the journey ahead. He had lived alone for so long. Now he had a child, not just any child, but possibly one of the last Lumiri in the galaxy. "What have I gotten myself into?" he wondered. But watching Ta sleep peacefully, he knew he had made the right choice. 3 months passed quickly. Jun and Ta developed a simple language mixing human words and Lumiri sounds. Ta learned faster than Jun thought possible. The child could now help with simple ship tasks and even read basic flight manuals. Jun had trouble at Sarah's colony with the adoption papers. The officials there had never seen a Lumiri before. They asked many questions. In the end, Jun paid extra fees and promised to bring Ta for health checks every 6 months. It was worth it to make everything legal. Today they were taking a shipment of medical supplies to the outer colonies. It was good pay, but the route went near areas where pirates sometimes attacked ships. "Ta, come check this star map with me," Jun called. Ta came quickly to the control room. At what Jun guessed was about 10 years old, Ta now wore clean clothes sized for a human child. The blue skin still shimmered. especially when Tai was excited or happy. "We go here?" Tai asked, pointing to their route on the map. "Yes, but we need to be careful. This area has had pirate attacks." Ta looked worried. "Bad people take ships." "Sometimes," Jun said. "But our ship is small. We're probably not worth their time." Jun was wrong. 2 days later, alarms blared through the Star Wanderer. Jun ran to the control room where Ta was already looking at the screens. "3 ships," Ta said, pointing. Jun saw them. 3 small, fast ships moving toward them from the shadow of an asteroid. Pirates. "Ta, go to the safe room like we practiced," Jun ordered as he took the controls. Ta didn't move. "Now, Ta," Jun shouted as he started emergency engine power. The first shots from the pirate ships hit the Star Wanderer. The ship shook hard. Warning lights flashed across the control panel. "Engine damage," the computer announced. "Shield power at 60%. Jun tried to send a distress signal, but nothing happened. "They're blocking our communications," he said. Tai suddenly moved forward and placed both hands on the ship's control panel. "I help." "Tai, you can't," Jun started to say. Then he saw something amazing. The crystal patterns on Ta's blue skin began to glow brightly. They pulsed with light that seemed to flow down Tay's arms into the control panel. The ship's lights flickered. The control screens changed, showing new information Jun had never seen before. "What are you doing?" Jun whispered. Tai didn't answer. The child's eyes were closed in deep concentration. The ship suddenly accelerated faster than Jun thought possible. It turned sharply, avoiding a second blast from the pirates. "Shield power increasing to 80%, the computer announced. "New power route detected." Jun watched in wonder as Tai somehow connected with the ship's systems. The child's hands never moved from the panel, but the ship responded as if Tai was controlling it directly. A message appeared on the screen, but in no language Jun had ever seen. Then it changed to human words. "Distress SIGNAL sent. Colonial Patrol Raisbo Ding. Hestimated arrival. 18 minutes." "How did you?" Jun began. The ship rocked as another shot hit them, but the shields held strong. "Cannot hold much longer," Ta said through gritted teeth. The blue skin was paler now, and Ta looked tired. Jun took over the manual controls. "You've done enough. I can keep us alive for 18 minutes. For those 18 long minutes, Jun used every flying trick he knew. The Star Wanderer moved in ways it never had before, thanks to whatever Tai had done to the engines. When the colonial patrol ships finally arrived, the pirates quickly fled. Later, as they continued their journey with a patrol escort, Jun sat with Tai in the ship's small kitchen. "What you did back there," Jun said carefully. "Is that why the Lumiri were special?" Ta nodded slowly. "My people connect to machines. We feel them. Talk to them." The child looked down sadly. "Why bad people attacked our world? They wanted our gift." Jun now understood why someone so young was alone in the galaxy, why the Lumiri were nearly extinct. Their natural abilities made them both valuable and feared. "Ta, listen to me," Jun said, taking the child's small blue hands. "What you can do is amazing, but you must be careful who knows about it. There are people who would use you for this ability, like pirates. Yes, and others who seem nicer, but are just as dangerous." Ta looked up at Jun with those deep, intelligent eyes. "You're not afraid of me?" Jun smiled and shook his head. "No, I'm proud of you. You saved us today." That night, as Ta slept, Jun made a promise to himself. He would protect this child, not just from danger, but from those who would exploit such rare gifts. And someday, he would help Ta use those gifts in a way that was Ta's own choice. What he didn't know then was just how far that choice would take them both. 5 years passed quickly. Jun's hair had more gray now, and lines formed at the corners of his eyes when he smiled. But he smiled often these days, watching Ta grow. Tai was 15 now, or what Jun guessed was 15 in Lumiri years. The blue-skinned teenager stood almost as tall as Jun. The crystal patterns on Ta's skin had grown more complex and beautiful with age. Life had changed for them both. After the pirate attack, Jun had been more careful. He took safer routes but made less money. Then Ta started helping more with the ship. With Ta's special connection to technology, the Star Wanderer ran better than ships half its age. They could deliver cargo faster than anyone else. Soon, Jun had more business than he could handle. "I have saved enough," Jun said one morning as they ate breakfast. "It is time to talk about your future." Ta looked up from a data pad. "What do you mean?" "You are smart. Too smart to just be a trader's helper forever." Jun pushed a small card across the table. "I got you this." Ta picked up the card. "Galactic Sciences Academy. On Mars." Jun nodded. "The best school in the system. I applied for you." They said yes. "But the cost?" "I have saved for 5 years," Jun said. "And with your improvements to the ship, business is good." Ta's crystal patterns glowed with emotion. "You would do this for me?" "You are my child," Jun said simply. "This is what parents do." 3 months later, Jun stood at the docking bay on Mars, watching Ta prepare to leave for the academy. They had new clothes and books, everything a student needed. "You remember what we talked about?" Jun asked quietly. Ta nodded. "Be careful about showing my abilities. Not everyone will understand." "Right, use them when needed, but don't draw attention," Tai finished. "I know, Father." The word still made Jun's heart warm. Father. After all these years, it still felt like a gift. "I will come visit when I can," Jun promised. "And you can call me anytime." For 3 years, Ta studied at the academy. Jun visited when his shipping routes allowed. He watched with pride as Tai excelled in every subject, especially technology and engineering. But it wasn't always easy. Some students and even teachers treated Ta differently because of blue skin and alien ways. Ta's only close friend was Sun, a quiet human girl who loved machines as much as Ta did. In the final year at the academy, Ta created something new, a device that could help people connect with machines almost the way Lumiri naturally did. It wasn't as powerful, but it worked. Ta's teachers were amazed. The biggest technology company in the system, Galacticorp, heard about it. They sent representatives to meet Ta right away. "We want to offer you a position," said the Galacticorp woman in her perfect business suit, "with a very good salary." Ta looked at the contract they offered. The money was more than Jun made in 3 years. "And the device would belong to Galacticorp?" Ta asked. "Of course, all work done by employees is company property." Ta thought about the Lumiri homeworld, about how people had wanted their technology so badly they destroyed an entire race for it. "What would you use it for?" Ta asked. The woman smiled. "That's not for employees to decide." That night, Ta called Jun. "They offered me a job. The pay is very good." Jun could hear the doubt in Ta's voice. "But they would own everything I create. They wouldn't let me decide how it's used." Jun was quiet for a moment. Then he asked, "What do you want to do with your gift, Ta?" "I want to help people. All people, not just rich ones. Not just humans." Ta paused. "I want to make technology that brings species together, not separates them." "Then you have your answer," Jun said. 1 month later, Ta graduated at the top of the class. Galacticorp came again with an even better offer. Ta turned them down. Instead, Ta and Sun rented a small workspace near the academy. They used Ta's savings from helping Jun with the trading business to buy basic equipment. A sign went up outside their door. "Luminary Tech. Technology that serves all species." It was a tiny beginning. Just 2 young people with big dreams. No one could have guessed that this small start would grow into something that would change the galaxy forever. 5 years after starting Luminary Tech, Ta sat in a much larger office. The small workspace had grown into a 5-story building. What began with just Tai and Sun now employed over 300 people of 12 different species. Their first invention, the neural bridge, changed everything. It allowed humans and other species to connect with machines using their thoughts, similar to how Lumiri naturally did, but safer and easier to control. At first, hospitals bought the neural bridge to help patients who couldn't move or speak. Then space pilots wanted them to fly ships better. Soon, everyone from factory workers to artists found uses for the technology. Unlike other companies, Tai made sure the neural bridge was affordable for everyone. Luminary Tech also worked with doctors to provide free units to those who needed them most. The quarterly report is ready, Sun said, entering Ta's office. Over the years, she had become Luminary's operations director while Ta focused on new inventions. How do we look? Tai asked, looking up from a new prototype. Profits are up 30%, and the children's hospital program is working well. Ta smiled. The crystal patterns across blue skin glowed softly with satisfaction. And the new factory on Europa. On schedule. It will be our first off-Earth facility. A message appeared on Ta's screen. June is docking in an hour. I'll meet him, Ta said, standing up quickly. June still ran his shipping business, though now he had 3 ships instead of 1. He refused Ta's offers to buy him a fleet. Too much work, he always said. I'm happy as I am. At the private docking bay, Ta waited as the Star Wanderer landed. The ship was still old, but Tai made sure it had the best upgrades. June walked down the ramp. His hair was mostly gray now, and he moved more slowly. But his smile was the same. Look at you, June said, hugging Ta. Every time I visit, you've grown more important. Not important, Ta corrected. Just busy. They went to dinner at June's favorite restaurant. As they ate, Tai told June about the new projects Luminary was working on. The next version of the neural bridge will help translate thoughts between different species, Tai explained. Imagine humans and Centaurians truly understanding each other for the first time. June nodded. Your mother would be proud. Ta grew quiet. Though Ta had no memories of Lumiri parents, June had helped keep the idea of them alive. I have something to show you, Ta said after dinner. They took Ta's private shuttle to a new building across the city. It was still under construction, but the sign was already up. The June Kim Foundation for Displaced Children. What is this? June asked, his voice catching. A place for children who have no home, Tai explained. Like I was, it will help all species, not just humans. We'll provide food, shelter, education. June turned to hide the tears in his eyes. You didn't have to do this. You taught me that success means nothing if we don't help others, Ta said. 1 billion credits came in last month. I could buy anything. But all I really have, all I really am, started with one meal you shared with a starving alien child. Later that night, after June went to sleep in the guest room of Ta's apartment, Tai received an urgent call from Sun. Galacticorp has announced a competing product, she said. They're calling it the Mind Meld. It's a copy of our technology, but they're using military-grade components. Ta frowned. That doesn't sound like a medical device. It's not. They're marketing it for security forces and corporate control systems. This was what Tai had always feared. Technology that could help was being turned into something that could control and divide. Call the board, Ta said. We need to release Neural Bridge 2.0 now, not next quarter. And make it open access. Open access. But our profits. We'll be fine, Tai finished. We need to get our version out there first. A version that helps people connect, not control them. The next morning, June found Tai still working. All night again? June asked, concerned. The work is important, Ta said. This technology could unite species or divide them. I won't let it become a weapon. June placed a hand on Ta's shoulder. You're changing the galaxy, one invention at a time. I learned from you, Ta said. You changed my galaxy when you shared your food instead of walking away. As the sun rose over the city, news reports announced Luminary Tech's surprise release of Miral Bridge 2.0 as an open access platform. The company's stock price soared. Galactic Corp's executives held emergency meetings. They had not expected Ta to give away what could have been the most profitable invention of the decade. They didn't understand what June had taught Ta years ago. True power wasn't in hoarding resources, but in sharing them wisely. 15 years had passed since Ta started Luminary Tech. What began in a small workshop was now the largest technology company in the solar system. The neural bridge and its newer versions had changed how people lived, worked, and communicated. Ta stood at the window of the main office on the 100th floor of Luminary Tower. From here, all of New Mars City spread out below. Ships came and went from the many landing pads. Millions of people from dozens of species now called Mars home. "The board meeting starts in 5 minutes," said Sun, who had remained Ta's closest friend and now served as company president. Ta nodded. The crystal patterns on blue skin flickered with worry. "Is June joining by video?" Sun asked. "No, he's here in person." June rarely left Earth these days. At 70 years old, he preferred the comfort of his home in the mountains, bought with the modest fortune he had finally accepted from Ta. But for this meeting, he had made the journey. The news had come 3 days ago. A group called Earth First had introduced a bill in the Galactic Council. If passed, it would limit alien-owned businesses and place special taxes on companies that used alien technology. The bill's supporters claimed it would protect human interests in human space. Everyone knew it was aimed directly at Luminary. In the boardroom, 30 directors waited. Most were human, but 7 were from other species. June sat quietly in the corner, his hair now white. His face lined with age, but still strong. The polls show 40% of humans support the Earth First bill, one director said after the initial reports. "Our stock has dropped 20%. We should move our headquarters to the Centauri system," another suggested. "They welcome all species there. Running away will only make us look guilty," a third argued. As the debate grew heated, Tay remained silent, listening. Finally, Jum spoke up. "What would leaving Earth system solve?" the old man asked. "This fear of the different, the unknown. It will follow wherever you go." Ta stood up. The room grew quiet. 15 years ago, I had a choice, Ta said. Galacticorp offered me wealth if I let them control my inventions. I said no because I believe technology should unite, not divide. Ta walked to the center of the room. "Now we face a similar choice. We can fight this bill with lawyers. We can move our company. We can use our wealth and power to crush our enemies." 25 years had passed since June found Ta hiding behind trash containers on Nexus Station. Luminary Tech now had offices on every planet and major moon in the solar system. The neural bridge technology had evolved into dozens of forms, helping billions of people live better lives. Tay sat alone in a private office late one night. The blue skin had deepened with age, and the crystal patterns were now complex and beautiful. At what June estimated was about 35 years old, Tai was in the prime of Lumiri life. A soft chime sounded. The computer announced, "Incoming message. Unknown origin. High encryption." Ta frowned. "Display message." Symbols appeared on the screen. Not human letters. Not any known alien language. But Ta recognized them instantly. They were Lumiri symbols. "Translate," Ta whispered, heart beating faster. The symbols changed into words. "Su orvivors. Need help. Coordinates at. Cheed." Tai stared at the screen in shock. Other Lumiri? Alive? It seemed impossible. The message contained coordinates for a system far beyond normal trade routes, near the outer edge of explored space. Tay's hand shook slightly as a call was placed to June's home on Earth. "A message," June repeated after Tay explained. His voice was thin with age now. At 75, His health was beginning to fail. You think there are other Lumiri. The message used old Lumiri script. No one else would know it. It could be a trap, Jun warned. There are still those who would want Lumiri technology for themselves. Ta nodded. I know. But if there are survivors, my people. After a long silence, Jun said, when do we leave? We? No, you need to stay. If you're going to the edge of space on a dangerous mission, I'm coming with you, Jun said firmly. I may be old, but I still know more about space trading routes than anyone at your company. 2 days later, a small but powerful ship left Earth orbit. The Starseeker was Luminary's newest exploration vessel, equipped with the best technology. Ta had selected a crew of just 5, all trusted friends who had been with the company from early days. And Jun, despite doctors' warnings about space travel at his age, the old trader insisted on coming. I found you, he said simply. I should be there if you find more of your people. The journey took 3 weeks. As they approached the coordinates, Ta grew quiet and spent hours looking at the stars. Nervous? Jun asked, joining Ta on the observation deck. What if they don't like what I've done with Lumiri technology? What if they think I've betrayed our ways? Jun placed a hand on Ta's shoulder. You've used your gifts to help others. No one could ask for more. The Starseeker's sensors detected a small moon orbiting a gas giant. The moon showed signs of artificial structures. Life signs reported sun from the control room. About 5,000 beings. Ta's crystal patterns glowed brightly with emotion. My people, they survived. As the ship entered orbit around the moon, a message came through. This time, a face appeared on the screen. Blue skin, crystal patterns, eyes like Ta's. An older Lumiri with complex patterns covering most of their face. Welcome, lost child, the Lumiri said in perfect human language. We have waited long to find you. The landing was emotional. Hundreds of Lumiri gathered to see the ship arrive. Ta was the first off the ramp, steps faltering at the sight of so many like himself. The Lumiri surged forward, touching Ta's hands and face with their own crystal patterns glowing in greeting. The elder who had sent the message introduced himself as Mun, the colony's leader. We escaped just before the final attack on our homeworld, he explained as they walked through the small but beautiful settlement. We believed all other ships were destroyed. How did you find me? Ta asked. Your speech to the Galactic Council, Mun said. It was broadcast even to these distant parts. We saw a Lumiri standing proud, speaking of our ways. We knew then that you had survived too. That evening, in a room filled with Lumiri elders, Ta learned the truth of his birth. Mun displayed an image of a Lumiri couple. Your parents were Rin and Du, 2 of our greatest tech shapers. When the attack came, they placed you on the last escape pod. We thought it was lost. Ta stared at the image of 2 Lumiri who had Ta's same eye shape, same crystal pattern style. They died helping others escape, Mun said gently. They would be proud of what you have built. Jun, who had been quiet during the reunion, spoke up. They should be proud. Ta has changed the galaxy for the better. Mun looked at the elderly human with newfound respect. You are the one who saved this child, who gave a home to one of our lost ones. I just shared my food, Jun said simply. Ta did the rest. That night, under strange stars, Ta walked with Jun outside the Lumiri settlement. Are you happy? Jun asked. Now that you've found your people. Ta looked back at the lights of the colony, then up at the stars where Luminary's many worlds shone. I've found my birth people, Ta said. But you taught me that family is more than blood or a species. It's about who stands beside you when you're afraid, who shares when you're hungry. Ta took Jun's wrinkled hand. You will always be my true father. As they walked back to the settlement, Ta's mind was already forming plans. The Lumiri colony was in danger, too isolated, too vulnerable to discovery. But with Luminary's resources, they could be protected, integrated. Their knowledge could help all species, and the centuries of Lumiri wisdom could be preserved. A new chapter was beginning, not just for Tay, but for all Lumiri, and perhaps for the galaxy itself. 5 years passed since the discovery of the Lumiri colony. Those years brought great changes to the galaxy. Tide worked tirelessly to integrate the Lumiri into wider society while protecting their unique culture. Luminary built a new headquarters on the Lumiri moon, now called New Lumira. With Ta's resources and the Lumiri's ancient knowledge, they created wonders that helped all species. Ta's empire now included not just technology companies but schools, museums, and peace centers. The neural bridge evolved further with Lumiri input. The newest version helped species with completely different biology understand each other's thoughts and feelings. Ancient enemies like the Vorn and Tellarites signed peace treaties after using the technology to truly comprehend each other for the first time. Ta was busier than ever, traveling between worlds, speaking at peace conferences, opening new research centers. But no matter how busy, Tai always made time for June. The old trader lived in a comfortable home on New Lumira now. At 80, Jun moved slowly and needed rest often. But his mind remained sharp, and he delighted in learning Lumiri customs and teaching them human songs and stories. One morning, Sun called Ta during an important meeting on Earth. "It's June," she said, her voice tight with worry. "The doctors say you should come quickly." Ta left immediately. The fastest luminary ship took only 6 hours to reach New Lumira, but it felt like forever. In June's bedroom, doctors and healers from 3 species stood back respectfully as Tai entered. June lay in bed, his white hair thin, his face pale. "There you are," June said with a small smile. His voice was weak. "Sorry to pull you from your meeting." Tai took his hand gently. "Nothing is more important than you." The doctors had explained the situation clearly. June's heart was failing. His age and the years spent in the harsh conditions of space trading had taken their toll. Even with the best medical technology, some things could not be fixed. For 3 days, Tai rarely left June's side. They talked about everything and nothing. Old memories, hopes for the future, funny stories from their years together. "Remember when I tried to cook Lumiri food for you?" June asked with a chuckle that turned into a cough. "And it turned that awful green color." Ta smiled. "You ate it anyway. It tasted better than it looked." June squeezed Ta's hand. "I've been thinking about that day on Nexus Station, when I found you. The day everything changed for me," Ta said. "For both of us." June's eyes grew serious. "I was alone before you, just me, and an old ship going from place to place. No real purpose. You saved me," Ta said softly. "No." June shook his head slightly. "We saved each other." On the 4th night, as 3 moons shone through the window, June's breathing grew more labored. Ta held his hand, crystal patterns glowing with deep emotion. "I need to tell you something," June whispered. "Something important." 50 years had passed since June Kim found a small blue alien child hiding behind waste containers on Nexus Station. The galaxy had changed in ways no one could have imagined. Ta stood at the window of the Grand Observatory on New Lumira. At 45 in Lumiri years, Tai was now considered middle-aged. The crystal patterns had grown more complex with time, covering most of the blue skin in beautiful, glowing designs. "The new peace agreement with the Arcturus Collective is ready for your approval," said Sun, now elderly herself but still serving as Ta's most trusted advisor. "Thank you," Ta said, taking the document. "This will open trade routes to another 50 systems." Luminary was no longer just a company. It had evolved into something much more. Some called it an empire, though Ta never used that word. It was a network of worlds, companies, schools, and healing centers that spanned most of the known galaxy. The Lumiri, once nearly extinct, now numbered over 50,000. They lived among humans and other species, sharing their knowledge while preserving their culture. The June Kim Foundation operated on every major world, helping children of all species. "Will you attend the statue dedication?" Sun asked. Ta nodded. 10 years after Jun's death, a statue was being placed on Nexus Station at the exact spot where he had found Ta. The moment that changed everything would be remembered forever. Ta's ship arrived at Nexus Station the next day. The place had changed greatly over the decades. Once dirty and dangerous, it was now clean and welcoming. People of dozens of species moved through shining corridors that had once been dark alleys. The dedication ceremony was simple. Ta spoke briefly about Jun, about how a single act of kindness could echo across time. As the statue was unveiled, showing Jun offering food to a small alien child, Ta noticed movement near the back of the crowd. A small human child, perhaps 9 or 10 years old, watched from behind a pillar. The boy was thin, with worn clothes, and the cautious look of someone used to being chased away. As the crowd moved toward the reception area, Ta quietly slipped away and approached the boy. "Hello," Ta said gently. "Are you hungry?" The boy flinched but didn't run. He nodded slightly. "My name is Ta. What's yours?" "Han," the boy whispered. "Nice to meet you, Han. Would you like something to eat?" Ta offered a food packet from a pocket. Han hesitated, then took it quickly. "Why are you being nice to me?" "Everyone says to stay away from you important people." Ta smiled. "Because someone was once nice to me when I was alone and hungry." As Han ate, Ta learned his story. His parents had been workers on a transport ship that was lost in an accident. With no family, he had been living on the station for months, hiding from authorities. "There are places that could help you," Ta said. "The Jun Kim Foundation has a center right here on the station." "They don't like street kids there," Han said, looking down. "I tried. The guard chased me away." Ta's crystal patterns darkened with concern. This was not how the Foundation was supposed to work. "Would you show me which guard?" Later that day, after ensuring the guard was removed from his position and new policies were put in place, Ta sat with Han in a private room at the Foundation Center. The boy had been given new clothes, food, and medical care. "What happens to me now?" Han asked. Ta looked at the human child thoughtfully. "That depends on what you want. The Foundation can find you." Ta leaned closer. "I'm proud of you," Jun said. "Not because you built an empire, but because of how you built it. With kindness. With purpose." Ta's eyes filled with tears. "I learned from the best. Your empire will last because it wasn't built on power or fear." Jun's voice grew fainter. It was built on connection, on seeing value in those others ignored. Jun's eyes drifted to the window, to the stars beyond. Those first years, raising an alien child alone, I often wondered if I was doing it right. "You did everything right," Ta said, voice breaking. "Maybe the best things we do in life are the ones we don't plan." Jun's eyes closed, like stopping to help a hungry child. As the night deepened, Jun's breathing slowed and finally stopped. Ta sat with him until morning, crystal patterns dimmed with grief. News of Jun Kim's death spread quickly across the galaxy. Messages poured in from leaders of every species and world. Even those who had never met him knew his importance, the human traitor who had changed history by a simple act of kindness. The funeral was attended by thousands on New Lumera, but one person was missing. Ta had disappeared, taking a small ship with no announcement of where they were going. Sun found Ta 3 days later, sitting alone on the observation deck of the old Star Wanderer. Jun had kept the ship all these years, refusing to replace it despite Ta's offers. "Everyone is looking for you," Sun said gently. "The Galactic Council wants to hold a memorial ceremony." Ta didn't look away from the stars. He wouldn't have wanted a big ceremony. He never cared about recognition. "But he deserves it," Sun said. "What he started, what you built together, it's changed everything for the better." Ta nodded slowly, touching a small wooden box on the console. It contained some of Jun's ashes. The rest had been scattered among the stars, as was human tradition. "I keep thinking about something he told me years ago," Ta said. "That the greatest power isn't in controlling others. It's in helping them grow. Tay turned to Sun, crystal patterns beginning to glow again with quiet determination. We need to expand the Jum Kim Foundation. Every station, every colony world. Any child of any species who needs help should find it there. Sun nodded. He would have liked that. As they prepared to return to New Lumera, Tai took one last look around the old ship, remembering the frightened child who had once hidden in its cargo hold. Thank you, Ta whispered to Jun's memory, for everything. 50 years had passed since Jum Kim found a small blue alien child hiding behind waste containers on Nexus Station. The galaxy had changed in ways no one could have imagined. Ta stood at the window of the Grand Observatory on New Lumera. At 45 in Lemuri years, Tai was now considered middle-aged. The crystal patterns had grown more complex with time, covering most of the blue skin in beautiful, glowing designs. The new peace agreement with the Arcturus Collective is ready for your approval, said Sun, now elderly herself but still serving as Ta's most trusted advisor. Thank you, Ta said, taking the document. This will open trade routes to another 50 systems. Luminary was no longer just a company. It had evolved into something much more. Some called it an empire, though Ta never used that word. It was a network of worlds, companies, schools, and healing centers that spanned most of the known galaxy. The Lumiri, once nearly extinct, now numbered over 50,000. They lived among humans and other species, sharing their knowledge while preserving their culture. The Jum Kim Foundation operated on every major world, helping children of all species. Will you attend the statue dedication? Sun asked. Ta nodded. 10 years after Jun's death, a statue was being placed on Nexus Station at the exact spot where he had found Ta. The moment that changed everything would be remembered forever. Te's ship arrived at Nexus Station the next day. The place had changed greatly over the decades. Once dirty and dangerous, it was now clean and welcoming. People of dozens of species moved through shining corridors that had once been dark alleys. The dedication ceremony was simple. Ta spoke briefly about Jun, about how a single act of kindness could echo across time. As the statue was unveiled, showing Jun offering food to a small alien child, Ta noticed movement near the back of the crowd. A small human child, perhaps 9 or 10 years old, watched from behind a pillar. The boy was thin, with worn clothes, and the cautious look of someone used to being chased away. As the crowd moved toward the reception area, Ta quietly slipped away and approached the boy. Hello, Ta said gently. Are you hungry? The boy flinched but didn't run. He nodded slightly. My name is Ta. What's yours? Han, the boy whispered. Nice to meet you, Han. Would you like something to eat? Ta offered a food packet from a pocket. Han hesitated, then took it quickly. Why are you being nice to me? Everyone says to stay away from you important people. Ta smiled. Because someone was once nice to me when I was alone and hungry. As Han ate, Ta learned his story. His parents had been workers on a transport ship that was lost in an accident. With no family, he had been living on the station for months, hiding from authorities. There are places that could help you, Ta said. The Jum Kim Foundation has a center right here on the station. They don't like street kids there, Han said, looking down. I tried. The guard chased me away. Ta's crystal patterns darkened with concern. This was not how the Foundation was supposed to work. Would you show me which guard? Later that day, after ensuring the guard was removed from his position and new policies were put in place, Ta sat with Han in a private room at the Foundation Center. The boy had been given new clothes, food, and medical care. What happens to me now? Han asked. Ta looked at the human child thoughtfully. That depends on what you want. The Foundation can find you a good home. You can get an education, choose your own path. Han looked up with hope in his eyes. Could I learn about ships? I want to be a pilot someday. Of course, you can learn anything you want. As they talked, Tay realized something important was happening. Perhaps it was chance, perhaps it was fate. Either way, it felt right. Han, would you like to come with me? See the galaxy. Learn about ships from the best pilots. The boy's eyes widened. With you? But you run everything. Ta smiled. I was once exactly where you are now. Someone gave me a chance when I needed it most. The next day, Ta's ship left Nexus Station with one additional passenger. As they cleared the docking bay, Ta took Han to the observation deck. The great expanse of stars spread out before them. It's so big, Han whispered in awe. Yes, Ta agreed. And full of possibilities. As they stood there together, the most powerful being in the galaxy and a homeless human child, Ta felt a sense of completion. June would have approved. Han, do you know why so many people came to see that statue today? Ta asked. The boy shook his head. Because the greatest empires don't begin with grand plans or great wealth, Ta said. They begin with a single act of compassion. One person seeing value in another when no one else does. Han considered this, then looked up at the blue-skinned Lumiri. Is that how you built your empire? With kindness. It's not my empire, Ta said softly. It belongs to everyone who believes different species can work together. And yes, it began with kindness. With a hungry alien child and a human who stopped to help. As the ship accelerated toward the stars, Tai could almost feel Jung's presence, smiling at the full circle of their journey. From a frightened child to the leader of a galaxy-spanning network of worlds, Ta had never forgotten the most important lesson. True power wasn't found in control or wealth or technology. It was found in connection, in seeing the worth in others, in the courage to be kind when kindness was not convenient. And now that lesson would live on in Han, and perhaps someday in others he would help. The cycle would continue, just as the stars continued their eternal dance through the vastness of space. That was the real legacy. Not an empire of worlds, but an empire of compassion that would endure long after all of them were gone.